The Butcher of Baghdad, also known as Uday Hussein, one of the most evil men to ever live. The son of a brutal dictator who outshined his father in his cruelty and his brutality. He did it for no purpose. He was not trying to further an agenda. Instead, he was being cruel just for the sake of his own sadistic mind. And today, we'll be going through all the details, how he got radicalized, the type of lifestyle he lived before all the violence, and of course, all of the atrocious acts that he did. Killing and murdering the people closest to him, stealing newlywed brides from their very own husbands. And of course, all of the brutal and atrocious acts that he did as the dictator's son. I mean, he would take his own body double, a guy that was trained to be identical to him, and tortured him for 21 days, only to release him to then get shot by people trying to kill Uday himself. This story is absolutely tragic, but fortunately at the end, we'll discover how he eventually died. So if you are interested in the morbid and dark stories and how power can corrupt, absolutely, this is the episode for you. So join me in the tent, sit back, relax, and welcome to camp. What's up, people, and welcome back to camp. My name is Mark Gagnon, and thank you for joining me in my tent, where every single week we explore the most interesting, fascinating, controversial stories from around the world, from all time, forever, that has ever happened. I'm also joined, as usual, by my dear friend Gabe. Gabe, how are you?
I'm good.
All right. Enough of that. I'm also joined by my dear friend and friend of the show. You've seen him, you love him. His name's Joey Avery.
Oh, it's great to be here.
How are you, sir?
Good. Did you say the best stories of all time or something right there?
Yeah, I think so.
It was wild. I liked it. I was like, I don't think that's right, but it feels right.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of my whole thing with the shows. You overpromise, underdeliver.
Yeah.
That's how you got to do it.
I like that.
How are you feeling from last night?
Last night was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You almost said it to me like we went out drinking, but what we did was we did our show in New York at Mary Lou, lovely French restaurant, our comedy show. Had a little piano going on, some improvised comedy. It was very fun. I loved it.
It was a wonderful time.
Yeah.
And as we were there in this beautiful French restaurant doing comedy, experiencing the joy of laughter, I was like, you know what? We need to talk about Uday Hussein.
Uday. Hey,
dude.
Uday. Do you know, you're not a big football fan, but the Cincinnati Bengals, I believe, their whole thing is Uday.
Uday?
Or maybe that's the Saints.
Uday, right?
Oh, it's Uday? There's Uday. Dude, bro, I'm not kidding. There's Uday and Uday, which also might be Saddam Hussein's kids.
Yeah. Well,
Uday is Saints. Okay. Uday, I think, is Bengals. Yeah, Uday. Yeah. Uday. Yeah.
Well, Uday
Yes.
Notoriously tortured many athletes throughout Baghdad. So
It is a tough place to play.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
evidently, as we will learn. What do you know about Uday Hussein?
I actually don't know anything. I think my general going in knowledge of him is kind of what I think the average American knows, which is like we knew spoiled rich, very bad behavior. Middle East version of Succession, I imagine.
Yes, dude.
Probably like shot people, and I bet he was using that dick on him.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But probably in a bad way that I don't support.
Yeah, it's not what you supported the way you said it, but whatever.
Well, that's why I'm clarifying.
That's
Is you know
fair.
when you say someone using that dick, it's like, but then it's like, but also you got to respectfully.
Yeah, as a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, he was the ultimate Nepo baby and kind of a bad guy,
Yeah.
if I do say so myself. I don't like to get political on this show.
I think this is a fair take. I think it's a relatively fair.
I don't call him this, but many have called him the Butcher of Baghdad. He's also been known as the Ace of Hearts. The U.S. military deck of most wanted Iraqis. He was the Ace of Hearts. One of the
Why do they give? I mean, he's a bad guy, but they gave him such cool nicknames.
Yeah. Well,
Ace of Hearts.
are you familiar with like the U.S. military like playing cards of most wanted criminals?
I actually didn't know that.
This is a fascinating and hilarious
Yeah.
thing that they did during like the Iraq War. I think they still do to this day, probably. But they would do these playing cards with like faces of terrorists on them and be like, "Hey, if you're playing poker, just like keep an eye on these guys."
Well, it's an effective way to do it. I would love to get my hands. I'd love to play with that deck.
Yeah. This is like a notorious little thing right here. Ace of Spades right there, dude. Saddam, daddy. Yeah.
The Ace of Spades.
Yeah. So that's what they were doing. This is where our tax dollars are going. Shout out USAID. Anyway, Uday Hussein.
I was on the USAID episode, by the way.
That's right.
Yeah.
People loved it.
Good.
And that's
We learned.
Yeah, we did learn.
We learned.
Uday is a fascinating guy. Morbid, dark, but I think is an important sort of footnote in how power corrupts people, specifically the children of very powerful people.
It is tough. Everyone wants to be powerful, but then you raise shitty rich kids.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not good.
Uday is the quintessential. So 18th of June, 1964, little Uday pops out of the world. He's the oldest son of Saddam Hussein, the heir apparent of Saddam's regime. Saddam actually missed Uday's birthday because at the time he was in prison for his part in an assassination plot. So already off to not a great start.
Who was he trying to kill?
That is a great question. I actually have no idea. But Saddam...
One of these guys.
Yeah, one of these
guys.
Some shenanigans that they get into. I mean, it seems like Saddam missing his father, or his kid's birth, not a great father.
No, well, but, he was trying to kill some other guy.
That's true.
Like, allegedly, maybe for his family. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Maybe he's the best father.
Yeah, it's possible. Once you say you're doing something for your family, it, excuses whatever it was. Why'd you kill that guy's family? Dude, I did it for my family.
Yeah, dude. You sound like Vin Diesel. You know what I mean? It's all about family at the end of the day, What's interesting is that Saddam and his wife, Sajida al-Talfa, were first cousins.
Ah.
Not that it matters.
Okay. Are we saying Uday was a little...
There might have been a little something. The gene pool might have been a little shallow. That's all I'm saying.
That cocktail was tequila and tequila. A little strong.
Yeah.
Has the strength.
So,
Special strength.
1979, Saddam becomes the president of Iraq, and Uday is just 15 years old.
Okay.
So he sees his dad rise the ranks, and... Saddam, for all intents and purposes, he was violent, ruthless, brutal, and amassed a lot of wealth, much of it stolen, and a lot of power, and was feared throughout Iraq during his regime. And no one dared to question his authority because they knew that if you did, there'd be some consequences.
And what we ended up learning is that kind of was how you had to run it. Kind of keeping a lid on the whole thing.
Yeah.
As I understand it. I'm not an expert in Iraq.
I'm not an expert either. You know what I mean? But I mean, the CIA saw something in Saddam, so,
They did.
They put him in power for a reason. You know what I mean?
Did we do that?
I wouldn't say that.
But we might have.
That's a gross overgeneralization, but I think there was a partnership at one point.
There's vibes.
But people felt the same way with Uday. So this had an effect on Uday. Growing up, your dad is like the most feared, dictator of all time in your country.
Your dad uncle.
Yeah, literally.
Dunkle.
The little dunkle daddy, dude. And he was basically just given free reign. He was a little prince living in Iraq and was given whatever he wanted. He did whatever he wanted. He had servants and yes men.
Yeah.
Just hand and foot, doing whatever he needed.
I'm sure this gets to a bad place, but it was probably a fun start.
Right?
Probably a nice time for a while.
That's
to
what I'm
live
saying.
in Iraq and have great service and some fun and diverse romantic experiences is how it started.
Yeah.
But it kept going.
But it is a good lesson. I have a child. I have a 9-month-old boy.
That's right.
I have my own little Uday.
You have your own little Uday.
And I'm looking at this and I'm like, you know what? I can't give my child, an
a palace in Baghdad.
Yeah, I just can't because this is what happens, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden things will take a little bit of a turn, as we'll see.
Because if you keep, not to make this a human nature thing, but it's like if there's nothing other than the next thing, you keep pushing out what the next thing is.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
I think it is a human nature thing.
Yeah.
I think absolute power corrupts.
Absolutely.
As they say. But, as the firstborn son, he kind of was given whatever he wanted. No one dared question his son because they feared the father so much. So you can imagine a Nepo baby, but instead of, how you'd be treated within like a company party, the whole country's a company party.
It was like when the Little League coach made his son the leadoff hitter.
Yeah.
And he wasn't very good.
No.
Yeah.
Just automatic out.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Start the game.
Leading off with this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the whole world.
Uday.
So he's a spoiled rich kid, right? He's partying all the time. He's sleeping with women. He's getting luxury cars, designer clothes, Rolexes, gold, all the things.
It is.
If it was designer, he wanted it.
That's right.
And everything was paid for by his father's money, which was also the money of the nation that he kind of usurped.
Gucci, Saint Laurent.
He loved French suits, Rolexes, and high-end cologne, which is nice. And he was also obsessed with his appearance. He was extremely vain. Allegedly, his vanity was so extreme that if any of his staff members wore clothing that he owned, Uday would force them to take it off and never wear it again, even if they wore it by accident.
How would they end up wearing his clothing by accident?
So either, I'm assuming it was either like they acquired it through like a donation system, or even if it was like a similar piece of clothing, they'd be like, dude, fuck that. Which I don't even get because they all kind of wear similar outfits anyway. You know what I mean?
What is that, a white robe?
Yeah.
Take that off.
Yeah, your Candor looks like my
Huh?
Candor. Yeah. But he was...
so like it didn't have to be literally his shirt. It would just be like, you pulling up wearing my shirt?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Dude, you're wearing the same Armani tee that I have. The same tight one that shows my nipples. Dude.
I remember, this is a little off topic, so you don't have to keep it in, but I remember one of the first times I worked with Schultz, I walk into the green room and he's wearing like a denim jacket with denim pants and like a black t-shirt. Or it was like a black shirt, black pants, and like a blue jean denim jacket. And I walk in wearing a black shirt, black pants, and a blue jean denim jacket. First thing he says, he just goes, well, one of us is going to have to change. Any guesses? And I was like, I'll go get something else.
Yeah. That one, it's like Spider-Man meme. The two, you guys just walking in and being like, dude, what? And then secondly, it is a weird look for the show if like 3 comics in a row.
No, I would do the same thing.
Because it almost looks worse that it's like, dude, this guy has all of his openers wear the same.
The same thing? Yeah.
That looks
like
crazy.
He's a tyrant.
Yeah, that looks insane.
He's like, the show has a look.
Yeah. So he's helping you out.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, he's got a elite group of bodyguards. This is Uday. And they were devoted, and they, he made sure these followers would basically just obey anything that he did, no matter what. And if you stepped out of line, you were gone. Mm-hmm. And again, he's just like a young kid at this point, he's 17, 18. But then the violence starts. Because so far, he's just like a rich kid. I know kids like
general piece of shit, taking advantage of things. Obviously, no one likes him. He sucks, but what you gonna do? He's cooking.
Yes. But Uday is Saddam's son. And as a result, he was aware of what his father was doing. And his father, it seems like, had some interest in kind of like teaching his son how the world worked.
Right.
And by the world, I mean his specific world.
Yeah.
And as a result, he watched many violent acts growing up. I mean, allegedly from torture to people being killed as like a young man. And this is kind of like his education into like how power functions. And so he admires his father. He wants to be exactly like him, not only in the power and the money, but also in the cruelty. And like many children, the student eventually outshines the master. So he goes from nightclubs and parties and, he's doing all sorts of stuff. He would order his bodyguards to gather all the attractive women and make them line up in front of him. Uday would then examine all the women to decide who was the most beautiful, and he would select 1 or 2 of them to come to his bedroom. And the woman...
Everyone does that in their own way.
That's the thing. If you don't line them up, it's kind of like, all right, you're just in a frat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As soon as you line them up.
The lineup really is the problem. I mean, most people, you're just supposed to scan the place at large and look for other factors. You're not supposed to be that detailed. It's not very nice.
But this is how you know this guy's kind of a psycho, because he's now using his power to line them up and like coerce them and basically be like, you, hit the G-Wagon.
Yeah, it's like the scene from Rush Hour.
I've
where
heard
they
of it.
go into the... Have you not seen Rush Hour?
I have seen the first one, I think.
Okay, yeah. They go into like some sort of brothel of some kind, and it's like, take your pick, and it's like all the girls are just looking at him. Basically this.
Basically exactly that. But the only downside is that these women can't really say no.
Yeah, that's not great.
But it's also like, dude, you're the prince.
Yeah.
They know you're the prince.
Yeah.
You can just walk in there and be like, hey, do you want to hang out? And they'd be like,
and he's probably thinking they've all got to be just pumped. Like, you're just hoping to get picked, dude. Like, I'm the prince. But they probably were not. They probably were not all pumped.
He could have just gone in and been like, do you want to roll with me? And they would say yes. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a nice prince.
Could have done it in a nice way. A nice prince.
But that's how you know he wasn't in it for the romance. He was in it for the power.
He's a bad guy.
Allegedly.
I
don't want to speak ill of the dead.
Of course.
He does die.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. What's up, guys? We're going to take a break really quick because you own a small business, or maybe you work for a small business, and I am about to make your life so much easier. Let's say, hypothetically, you own a little, furniture business, right? And you're struggling to keep track of the raw materials, the production schedule, invoicing clients, all that stuff. Well, that's why I want to tell you about Odoo, okay? Because with Odoo, it's an all-in-one business platform that streamlines everything. Now you have inventory management, you have manufacturing, you have accounting apps that will make everything so simple. So now if you have a small business, you can monitor the inventory in real time, schedule production calls more effectively, and you can send invoices automatically, all from one platform. Plus, you get a customized CRM to track sales leads and follow up with potential clients, boosting your closing rates. Back in the day, you'd probably have to get, some, Ivy League operator, business person that's, able to make everything happen for you. But now with Odoo, it cuts it all out. And I'm sure you're thinking, okay, if this is going to make my life easier, give me more free time to spend with my friends, family, and playing softball, and make me more money, it must be crazy expensive. This is the good news. Listeners of this program are going to get a 14-day free trial. That's right. You get 2 weeks with Odoo completely for free when you go to odoo.com/camp. That's right. Odoo.com. Use the promo code CAMP and you will get 14 days for free. Just to try it out. See if you like it. If it's not for you, you don't need it. All right. But Odoo is going to make your life so much easier. Everything you need all in one place. Save time. Make more money. Now let's get back to the show. What's up, guys? We're going to take a break really quick because I want you to know that there are still good people in the world. And there are still people out there fighting for you. So here's a story. There's a guy riding a water slide, right? He's at this amazing water park. He's about to go down the slide. All of a sudden, as he's going down, flies into the air, lands on his back, and has permanent, life-changing injuries. He's still dealing with them 4 or 5 years later, and he's having a hard time getting paid. You know what I mean? He gets injured at this massive, massive water park owned by Disney, of all people, and can't even get a cent out of their attorneys. So that's why he called Morgan & Morgan. He called Morgan & Morgan, and quickly they represented him in his lawsuit against Disney for damages, citing what they called lax safety measures. The lawsuit alleges that Disney either failed to warn him properly or failed to make the ride safe, and they argue that the design itself created a dangerous condition. And thankfully for this guy, because he called Morgan & Morgan, he will get justice in his case, just like the 500,000 other clients that got the compensation that they deserved over Morgan & Morgan's 35-year career. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm with over $25 billion recovered. I'm telling you, hiring the wrong law firm can be disastrous, and hiring the right one could substantially increase your settlement. With Morgan & Morgan, it's so easy to get started, and their fee is free unless they win your case. So just visit forthepeople.com/Gagnon, Gagnon, or dial pound law. That's pound 529. That is forthepeople.com/Gagnon or dial pound law. That's pound 529. This is a paid advertisement. Now let's get back to the show. 1983, at a party, Uday wanted to dance with a soldier's wife. The soldier said, maybe not.
Deploy him. That's the normal way.
And basically told Uday, like, yeah, dude, you're not going to dance with my wife. Like, I'm a soldier. Like,
Yeah.
I ain't no bitch. And Uday got pissed, and he beat the soldier so severely that the man died from his injuries later.
Oh, God.
Psycho. In another incident, a soldier forgot to salute Uday. So Uday pulled out a gun and shot him in the head. At parties, people knew Uday was, a wild boy and would get a little inebriated.
Yeah.
And would randomly shoot his AK-47 around the room, like into the ceiling and shit. And it was just like, he would get that gun in his hand and things would just kind of like buck off. There's actually a video of Uday shooting his gun.
Yeah, let's take a peek at that.
All right, so this is a video of Uday at a party. Let's see. This is 5 minutes. We might have to skip a little bit.
There's sound as well.
Yeah, we're gonna need that, dude. Hear that beautiful ricochet.
That gat. Okay, fun little Iraqi part. Oh, Jesus. And then he just goes back to... Look how much fun he's having.
And look at everyone else pretending to have fun.
Everyone's like, okay, cool. He's doing it like a kid with sparklers on the 4th of July.
Right?
You know?
I mean, it's like psycho. Like, I mean, that I would be so terrified. Like,
yeah.
He's just like rolling face right now, probably just like,
just
dude,
vibing.
Give me my AK.
He's on some sort of cool Iraqi drug we haven't even heard of yet.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, they got some shit over there that's fire, low key.
Like what?
When I was in UAE, they got this thing. It's basically just tobacco, but it's called
it chat?
No, it's not chat. It is. That's like you chew that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is it's called a médois, and it's basically just like a pipe with like a tobacco type thing. I don't even know exactly what it is, but you rip it and it's just like 10 zins to the face.
I think I hit that at one of your guys' parties after you got back.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It is unfortunately the greatest thing ever. And you just sort of like feel your fingers go tingly and you just sit in the couch and you're just like,
wow.
And it's just that for like 30 seconds and
then you're back.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's basically like a little Middle Eastern whippet.
Love that.
But he did many terrible things, as you can imagine. This is the kind of guy you're partying with. And as you're probably wondering, you're like, well, how do we know all this stuff? Many of these awful acts happened in private and were kept secret by Saddam's government so that people, outside of Iraq wouldn't understand what's going on. And the reason we know a lot of these details is because of an excellent source, probably one of the best sources that we could get about Uday Hussein. One thing that happened, very so often in Saddam's Iraq was people were trying to kill Uday because he was brutal. He was kind of tyrannical, and no one really liked kicking it with him, but they had to. So there were all these attempts to kill Saddam himself, and so the two of them are now basically getting, cited. So the powerful leaders used body doubles to protect themselves and lower the chances of being murdered. Saddam had several body doubles, and the body doubles were called fadai in Arabic, and more commonly known as bullet catchers was the name.
What a gig.
Yeah.
Hey, you look like Saddam. Do you want to take a bullet for him? Not really. Too bad.
Yeah.
You look like him.
Yeah.
So you now have this job.
Yeah, dude.
Don't imagine they asked.
No, I think they probably just put up posters, and they were like, hey, look-alike contest in Baghdad.
Yeah, they weren't on Indeed.
Yeah. And so Uday, seeing the threats here, he was like, I need my own body double.
Yeah.
So his body double is the source for much of this information.
That's a problem. You let someone into the inner circle,
and he doesn't catch a bullet.
Yeah.
It's like, he's gonna leak some shit. So I mean, is this Saddam's body double here? Wow.
A couple of them on a boat just vibing.
I
Dude,
mean,
taking the Saddams out for a day on the lake. It's like 4 of them on a boat just fucking vibing.
Dude, could you imagine?
Awesome.
You get back with your boys, you're like, dude, I saw Saddam today. And they're like, really? You're like, well, I saw 7
I got
of them.
7 of them on a boat, dude. They were listening to Shakira. The Saddams were having a nice time.
That's how it be sometimes, dude. It really is just me, myself,
Mm-hmm.
and all my millions. And that's what Uday did. So literally, he gets his body double, and the body double, goes on to tell a lot of the story about what it was like. So when Uday was trying to decide who would make a good body double, he remembered someone from his school class who looked similar to him. This person was a man named Latif Yahia, who is now an adult serving in the Iraqi army and was actually fighting on the front lines during the Iraq-Iran war. So Uday sent orders to the battlefield that Latif Yahia would be taken off military duty. He gets a call. He's like, hey, dude, you're off the front lines. And he was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then he gets brought to the royal palace, and he's like, dude,
We're cooking.
this is amazing. When he arrives at the palace, Uday greets him, and then Uday led Latif to his office and simply asked him, do you want to be my body double?
And he said,
Now, again, Latif is an intelligent guy. He's a soldier. He's fought in many battles. He understands the nature of the Middle East, and he understands how conflict works. And he knows that it's dangerous to be a body double, especially for Iraq's most hated person ever.
yeah.
But
Also means he's going to have to hang with him, and he's a tough hang.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he also understands that this is Uday, and you can't really say no.
Right.
So he says, do I have a choice? Uday answers, my friend, of course you have a choice. Knowing that working as Uday's body double would probably get him killed, he politely thanked him and said no.
There's no way he makes it out of this palace.
Uday has him arrested immediately.
Yeah.
And he's locked in an extremely small cell that measured only 1 meter by 1 meter,
Oh, my God.
making it impossible to stretch out and sleep properly. The walls are painted bright red, and a powerful light is in the ceiling, staying on consistently, making sleep basically impossible. At night, Latif could hear other prisoners screaming as they were being tortured.
Jesus.
So, after a week, Uday opens
A
the door.
whole week?
One whole week of not sleeping, opens the door himself, and he basically talks to Latif, and he says, hey, do you want to be my body double? Or do you want me to sexually assault your sisters?
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
I thought you were like ad-libbing.
No,
That's a crazy...
that's the deal.
He's like, okay, you've been in jail for a week. Now I'm going to ask you again. Do you want to be my body double, or I'm going to... I was going to say a word, but I shouldn't say it on YouTube. Your
Yeah.
sisters.
Yes. And
How many sisters? Not that it matters, but just out of curiosity. I mean,
I think he's got like 2 or 3.
2 or 3. God damn.
Yeah, dude.
Uday.
So Latif is now like, oh, damn it.
Well, this doesn't really encourage him to keep your secrets, does it?
Well, it's like, yeah.
He's made another enemy.
Well, that's his whole. This is how he thinks power works. He's like, you don't get things from being nice. You get things from being feared.
Do you think Latif was like all the sisters? Because you know the one I'm talking about. You don't want to do all that.
Yeah. Not the hot one. And he's like, what'd you say? He's like, no,
nothing.
Just forget it, dude. So Latif says yes. So he's let out of prison, and he was given to a man named Munir Mohammed. And Munir's job was to teach and train Latif so that he could become just like Uday. Which this just sounds like a very hilarious
The
comedy.
craziest training camp of all time. Wake up! 4 shots! Take 4 shots right now! You got to fuck! Go fuck!
They're at a party like, here's the AK. He's like, I don't want it.
They're like, take the AK.
You have to do it.
Line the women up.
Immediately.
What are you doing? Why are these women not in a line?
Yeah, he doesn't get saluted. They're like, did you notice he didn't salute you? He's like, nah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Like, no, you know what you have to do. So now it's his job to get trained up. This is basically Princess Diaries.
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie with
No.
Anne Hathaway?
Believe it or not, I haven't, and I know it's a must-see, but I just haven't done
Of all the films that I've seen that you haven't, I'm shocked that this is the one that has diverged our paths.
I know.
But this is basically the premise. It's like,
I was just thinking of Daniel Day-Lewis doing this, becoming Uday, like trying to do that in the modern era. He's like, I had to go method. It's like, you have 19 felonies. You can't do that in the United States.
I want to see this just as like a slapstick comedy.
Yeah. Uday, the musical.
So
I said, get them in a line. Line up the horse.
dun, dun. It just goes to black. So basically, this was his job. So Latif, basically, he's living in the royal palace, and he gets his own bedroom, and the room has things like silk sheets and his French suits and royal watches and the whole deal.
Not the worst.
All the same stuff that Uday has and uses. And these were, to kind of teach him to learn to be like Uday. And it might sound nice. I'm sure you're looking at this being like, oh, that's not too bad. The room was also kind of like a jail cell because he couldn't leave unless Uday gave him permission. So he called it the Golden Cage.
Yeah. Better than his initial cage, but a golden cage nonetheless. So he wasn't allowed. He's not allowed to like go to the kitchen and make an espresso.
No. If Uday doesn't drink espresso, you're not drinking espresso. So Latif wanted to call his family and tell him like, hey guys, good news, I'm out of war. Bad news, I'm trapped in a golden cage. Good news again, I'm still alive. Because they thought that he just vanished. Like, they just thought he was just gone one night.
Can't imagine he was allowed to do that.
So he tries to contact them. He talks to his dude, Munir Mohammed, and he tells him that they already called his family and said that he was killed.
No.
So they say, hey, don't worry about it.
What a relief.
It's handled.
Thank you.
But
Thank
good
you,
news, you are a war hero. So that's what he said. They said, Latif, you're a war hero, and your family knows you as an honorable man, and now you can live your life in this little cage.
So now, that's crazy. He's a dead man, and he's like, there's no chance I'm making it back. I'm basically dead. My life is over, and now I'm a jailed up pretend boy.
Yes. And
not as fun as it might sound.
Munir tells him you can never talk to anyone from your past life, and you have to basically forget about it completely. And Munir allegedly says to him, you are no longer Latif. Today, you are Uday.
Damn.
So they already look similar, but he didn't look exactly the same. So how do you fix this?
Plastic surge?
You're exactly right. And so they bring in a plastic surgeon to completely change his appearance so that he would look identical to Uday, basically like his twin. And so the doctors like change his chin, they change his teeth, and many other parts of his face to make him look more like Uday Hussein. All of this surgery was done even though Latif didn't want it. Which is hilarious.
Horrible existence.
He'd be like, is there any way we can both just get like veneers? Like,
yeah.
Can we
starts pitching new mods. It's like, what if we did an earring this month?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Can we get a picture of Latif and Uday together? Because I would love to see
Latif and Uday, yeah.
So this is them side by side.
Which is the fake?
Uday is on the left.
That's Uday?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Checks out, right?
Yeah, it does.
And so
they're doing their best, but it's not perfect.
But like, imagine Uday's got like a snaggle tooth, and they're like, "We're gonna snaggle you up," and he's like,
Yeah.
"Damn, why can't he just get braces?"
Yeah,
right. Like we could both elevate here if we wanted to do this correctly.
Oh my god.
So for weeks and weeks and weeks, Latif went through this training to learn to, become Uday, and he had to copy like his body movements, the way he spoke, the way he walked, and the words that he used, everything down to even how he smoked cigars. Double-fisted, fucking. That's. He's like, do I have to do this? Like the prince?
You have to do it. Yeah, you got to get half of it in your mouth and slob up.
Yeah. Because you're not just doing this for shits and gigs. You're doing this because you need to be exactly like this guy. So
to trick an assassin, to trick a foreign government. Yeah.
Literally. Like, you need to trick the CIA if they're trying to take out Uday. They need to think that you're literally Uday.
Yeah.
So I like that you went away from the mic.
I burped a little bit.
I don't want to tase on.
Yeah. It's very like being a secret agent on a secret mission always looks so fun in the movie, but it's more frequently a lot like this.
Yeah.
Where it's like your family has to think you're dead, you don't look like you anymore, you're not, and you're like, wow, this sucks. So doesn't really get to unwind. He doesn't get like a long weekend.
No.
Yeah.
No, you're basically like on a death mission. Like, it's like the slowest suicide mission ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're just walking into the front lines.
Yeah. You're just being as much of a douche as possible, and they're hoping that you get shot.
But now here's where he's in a tricky spot, because he's gone through every level of passing this test to become the body double, right? He looks good to Munir. Like, everyone thinks like, okay, you're doing pretty good. But he has to get past Saddam. So
is Saddam not allowed to know?
Saddam knows, but he's the one that's like, okay, train him up and then let him come to me and see if he's good.
Right.
Now imagine if he's not good. What happens to him?
Dead.
So, final exam of his life. He needs to meet Saddam, and Saddam is going to decide if he's good enough to be the body double. Latif was worried because, if Saddam didn't approve, that's basically it. So when he meets Saddam, the dictator looked at him and basically just like examined him head to toe. And after like a long period of silence, he just goes, very good. Allah gave me 3 sons. You are the 3rd, but never, ever make me angry. Whoa.
Goddamn.
So his first job would be at a soccer awards ceremony where he would give out medals to soccer players while pretending to be Uday.
Yeah.
Like, now he's like legit doing the job. It's like, you go out there and do.
He's probably starting to enjoy it a little bit. Getting outside,
right?
A little pomp and circumstance. Oh, hey, check it out.
Nothing wrong with a little,
handing out a medal to a kid shooting an AK.
That's what I'm saying. There's perks,
There are perks.
So I think this is a picture of him handing out these medals. So
he does. Yeah, he looks. God damn.
I think it's racist if we say they look the same, but
so this is the easiest mission of all time.
Dude, he looked exactly like him before.
What do you even mean?
The guy behind him looks like him.
Hero and rice.
Half white sauce, that'd be excellent. Thank you. Yeah. And since this is his first assignment, they want to make sure that he's ready, so they planned a practice run where he could rehearse. And during the practice session, Uday watched to see how he was doing. During the rehearsal, Uday is in a good mood. So he's joking around, having fun, he's making people laugh, until he told a joke that would make Latif laugh out loud. Unfortunately, the way Latif laughed was different than how Uday would have laughed. So immediately, Uday goes from joking and goofing around to being incensed. He's furious. And he starts beating Latif all over his body with a metal bar.
It's going to sideline the guy.
Well, you're going to learn not to laugh like a fucking goofball.
I guess so.
You're going to laugh like me. Ho, ho, ho. That's how Uday laughs historically. I think that is true. I haven't verified that, but I think.
He just has an insane. The guy laughs. He's like, that's not how I laugh. How do you laugh?
So Latif heals from his injuries and just in time for the real event, fortunately, and he does the job great. He doesn't laugh once. And Uday personally congratulates him and says, hey, great job. You passed the test. What's up, guys? We're going to take a break really quick because you need to rebrand your crotch. That's right. You need a full rebrand on your dong, and you're going to do it with Blue Chew. Because Blue Chew, their tablets aren't just for better sex. No. They are like if Tony Robbins give a motivational speech right to your wiener, I mean, you're going to feel amazing. Look, I just took one of Blue Chew's tablets today, and suddenly, I mean, look at me. I'm glowing. This table, absolutely getting crushed underneath it, right? My penis is giving a press conference, okay? Feeling great. Never been better. So whether you're trying to make, a memorable moment with your sweet love, or you're just trying to give, a friend of yours or a girl like some crazy group chat fodder, something for the girls to gossip about, Blue Chew is absolutely the chewable tablet delivery service that you need to bring the thunder. And the best part is that we got a special deal for the listeners of this lovely program. Get your first month for free at BlueChew.com. Just use the promo code GAGNON at checkout. All you got to do is pay $5 for shipping. That's like a cup of coffee, all right? $5 for shipping. You're going to get free Blue Chew straight to your door. So upgrade your legacy. Let your name ring out for eons. And let's get back to the show. What's up, people? Quick announcement. If you are a fan of Camp Gagnon or Religion Camp, I have great news because we are dropping History Camp. That's right. This is the channel where we're going to be exploring the most interesting, fascinating, controversial topics from all time throughout all history, right? You probably know about Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, Nikola Tesla, interesting figures from history, and you probably learned about them in school and they were pretty boring, but not here. No. As you know, I was raised by a conspiracy theorist, so I'm going to be diving deep into all of the interesting, strange, occult, and secretive societal relationships that all of these famous, influential men from our shared past have. So if you're interested, please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It will be pinned in the description as well as the comments. And if you're on Spotify, this doesn't really apply to you, but these episodes will be dropping as well. Just go ahead and give us a high rating because it really helps the show. There's another event that Latif had to go to while pretending to be Uday. There's a party that army officers were throwing to celebrate the end of the Iran-Iraq war. But as Latif and his bodyguards were walking into the building, attackers who thought Latif was really Uday started shooting at them with AK-47s. Latif gets shot in the shoulder, and the bodyguards shoot back and kill the attackers. Latif was then rushed to the hospital to get medical help.
Shit. So it kind of worked, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Doing a good job.
I wonder if they tell the bodyguards. I bet you they don't.
No, I don't think so. I think you keep that very close to the vest because you want everybody operating the same way.
Right?
Yeah.
So he gets shot, and he gets a reward. So Uday tells Latif that he gets 30 minutes to now go visit his family and tell them what's going on.
Whoa.
So immediately Latif runs out of the hospital and spends the short time that he has with his family, and they're shocked to see him because they're like, we thought you were dead. He goes, I'm not dead. Well, kind of I am.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be eventually. And I'm now living as this body double for this crazy guy. And they were just like, oh, shit. All right.
Right.
And he gets 30 minutes.
I'm surprised he let him do that. I feel like letting the family know would be, I guess they know that it's a reign of terror enough that the family's not going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But what a mind.
But it's one of those things that's like, okay, this guy takes a bullet for me. He might just mentally collapse.
Right.
The next time he has to go to another event for me, he might just be like, just kill me. You know what I mean? Like, you need to protect
So
his
Uday
spirit.
was a lot of things, but he was also an effective manager.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as upper management goes, he understands
Yes.
sort of how to keep your guys incentivized.
Yeah.
So one day, Uday decided that he wanted to take a vacation. So he asked Latif if he wanted to come along, and Latif says, sure. So Uday, Latif, and several bodyguards go on this expensive, fancy holiday. They're staying at this hotel, and they're by the swimming pool smoking cigars until he notices a couple on the other side of the pool. Uday found out that the couple were newlyweds on their honeymoon, and they'd only gotten married the day before.
Uh-oh, he's fucking that bride, isn't he?
Uday tells the bodyguards to bring the woman to him.
God damn it.
And Latif goes to Uday and says, dude, she just got married. They're on their honeymoon. Please, just leave her alone. Like, I know that I shouldn't step to you. Uday gets angry that Latif tries to question his authority. So Uday orders Latif to come with him and the woman to his hotel room, and Uday forces him to sit in the next room so that Latif had to listen to Uday basically assaulting this woman.
Ah, Jesus.
When Uday finished and goes away, she immediately runs to the window, opens it, and jumps out.
Oh, my God.
Her husband, who's outside at the time, goes over to see what happens and sees his wife had passed away.
Oh, Jesus.
Fucking psycho. But soon after that, the Gulf War begins, and Latif is being driven near the Kuwait border to make a TV appearance while pretending to be Uday. While they're driving there, attackers start shooting at their group of cars from both sides, and during the fight, someone throws a grenade at the car that Latif was riding in, and the explosion seriously injures his hand and almost completely destroys his pinky finger. Latif is also shot multiple times, and many of the security guards are also killed, but the survivors manage to fight back and kill the attackers, and this is the closest that Latif comes to actually dying. So he wakes up in the hospital with Uday Hussein standing over there, clapping,
vibing,
literally just like fucking
very good,
or just straight up, just fucking like Scorsese,
one of the best.
Like,
yeah,
just
give him a hand because he needs one.
And he's literally just like patting him on the back, like, "Hey, great job, buddy! You did it. I didn't die. Nice." Then Uday turned to the doctor and asked if Latif was going to recover, and the doctor told Uday that because of the damage to his hand, he would probably lose his pinky finger. This makes Uday pissed off. He's upset, you know.
The doctor.
Yeah.
I know this guy's MO,
right?
And I don't like it.
Not at all. So now that the Uday is pissed by the news because if Latif loses his pinky finger, he can't continue working as the body double because they'll just be like, check the pinky.
Right.
So Uday becomes furious, puts his gun against the doctor's head, and demands that the doctor fix the finger.
You know, like I tend to defer to medical professionals, but there's a certain amount of outside pressure from the family that can help in tense scenarios.
Pressure makes diamonds.
That's right.
And just keep this in mind if you have a loved one that's suffering.
Yeah, my body double, actually.
Just tell the doctor, like, hey,
I've been making him sit in the other room while I jack off.
That way he knows my stroke pattern and my habits. You know
It's
what I mean?
important.
Yeah. I mean, if he's really going to beat me, he's got to beat me.
Yeah.
So after the Gulf War ends, Uday returns to his normal activities. He's partying, he's drinking, and, assaulting women. And one night at a club, one of Uday's chosen women tried to hook up with Latif.
Oh,
classic mix-up.
Shit, I don't know if I'd do that.
You don't see where,
I don't know if I'd do that.
But she's got the perfect alibi.
Yeah. I thought it was you, babe.
What?
I thought it was you.
Whoops, my bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've tried to play that one off.
Trying to get pinky fingered.
Yeah. They tell him, they're like, yeah, go for the Uday that has like the pinky going sideways.
Yeah.
Like that's the one.
Put
that
a vibrator in that thing.
It's like a 90s basketball shoe. You just got
yeah. The pump up.
Yeah, dude. And so Latif told the woman no because he's not interested and because they aren't allowed to sleep with Uday's women.
Right.
Uday finds out about this, and in the middle of the night, he sent bodyguards to pull Latif out of his bed and bring him to Uday's office. Uday asks Latif what happens between him and the woman. Latif tells him, nothing happened, dude. I was trying to be you, or I guess the opposite of you.
Yeah, she got interested.
And Uday didn't believe him and tells him, I will send you to be a little bit happy, which is a phrase that Uday liked to use a lot. I will send you to be a little bit happy.
That means
I mean,
I assume.
Yes, but no.
Uh-oh.
He's sending him to the torture rooms.
Oh, I thought he was going to treat him like a nice time with a lady. You blow off some steam. You're me. You got to get in character.
Doesn't believe him.
Stroke. But I don't think he was probably a passionate lover, though. Well, maybe passion, but the passion was probably anger. I don't think he was much of a giver.
I wonder if he just like getting pegged. Like all these.
Uday?
You got to wonder, right?
He doesn't. Well, I guess because some people who exert crazy amounts of power want it taken away in the bedroom. Is that the thought process?
That's what I'm wondering. I mean,
Yeah.
Not that I would know. But this is what I've heard.
Either.
This is what I've
Neither of us are powerful enough to get pegged.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a people pleaser on and off the court.
I'm just trying to peg.
Yeah. I'm on stage like, do you guys like me? And then I'm in the bedroom like, do you like me?
It's crazy how much my entire life boils down to that a little bit.
Yeah.
But then when people don't, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, no, if people don't like me, I'm like,
all right,
I
fuck
get
you.
it.
But the whole thing is an effort to be like, huh?
I go the other way. I'm just
right.
like, dude, I completely agree.
Well, they're right, Everyone's right.
I'm self-loathing enough to be like, yeah.
There's enough parts of you, and everyone knows enough about themselves that when someone's like, I love you, you're like, you know what, that could be good. And someone's like, I hate you, and you're like, well, there's also that.
Yeah, I've been on both sides of this.
Of course, certainly, yeah.
And Uday, I don't know if he has. He's just expecting unconditional love and sort of adoration.
He's not had a lot of pushback.
No. So what does he do? He sends Latif to get tortured for 21 days.
Yeah, maybe he's into that. There's always that.
He gets to the end. Uday's like, dude, I thought you liked this.
Yeah, he spits out the ball gag. He's like, already?
It's like, dude, this is my favorite holiday retreat.
Yeah.
The only reason that he's released is because Uday didn't want to lose his body double, and he was close to dying. So the prison guards call Uday, and they say, if you don't call us off right now, this guy's going to die. So Latif is basically completely like damaged from the torture, and he needs a long time to heal and like recover so that he could go back to work as the body double. So Uday actually lets him go home and recover with his family.
Wow.
So he's like, go back with your folks for
real good cop, bad cop energy.
Well, that's the problem, right? So during the time at home, Latif tells his family that he's going to escape.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm going to run away from Iraq because he knows that staying in Iraq in general will get him killed. Staying as Uday's body double would eventually get him killed. But on the night that he planned to escape, Uday called him, invited him to a party at a nightclub. knowing what would happen if he refused, he basically gives up his escape plans and goes to the party. Alrighty, don't skip forward, guys, because I am on the road, world's fastest ad read, coming at you. I'm going to be in Austin, Texas, Stanford, Philly, Levittown, Chandler, Arizona, San Diego. I'm also going to be adding Toronto, Montreal, as well as Washington, D.C., and a bunch of other dates. Dates are in the description, also in probably the comments of this episode. Go see me on the road. Come hang out. I'll be hanging out with everyone after the show. Come shake my hand. Call me an idiot. Whatever you want to do, I will be there. Additionally, I will be doing my 1 hour of stand-up comedy. I'm very proud of this hour. I'm really excited to share with you guys, and it would mean the world if everyone could come on out. I will see you guys there. You can go to campgoods.co. That's right. We got merch. We got camp merch. We got hats, hoodies, t-shirts. A lot of stuff is out of stock. Things have been selling like hotcakes, but we're going to be restocking everything in all the sizes. So you can go there right now, get all the merch, get all the coolest clothing in the podcast game. We're going to be updating that site regularly. And if you come out to a show, I'd love to see you sporting some of the threads that we got up online. I'll see you guys there. Let's get back to the show. So he's at the nightclub, right? Uday showed up carrying this big metal bar. Uday walked around the club, hitting people with it randomly.
What a crazy party to be at. This dude just walks in with a giant metal pipe and just starts striking random people who just try to keep dancing because there's nothing they can do.
Literally just piñating the whole squad.
And there's two of him, by the way. If you're at this party, you can see two of him at once. So odd that they're doing that in the open.
Yeah.
The two Uday strategy.
Yeah.
They're like a fucking DJ. They're like the chain smokers. Two Udays in the club.
Fucking Blue Man Group, dude.
Yeah, dude.
So he's walking through, hitting people. Then he walks over to Latif and starts kicking him. And he says, "The time has come." Latif doesn't understand what this means. What is Uday trying to imply here?
Eiffel Tower.
Going to Paris?
Yeah.
But he gets scared and thinking that Uday had found out about his escape plans. So Latif just ran away.
Just took off.
Out the nightclub.
Fucking underground halal cart.
So Uday starts chasing Latif and yelling for him to come back. Latif managed to get into an elevator and desperately pressing the button to close. Unfortunately, Uday catches up and starts shooting into the elevator with an AK-47, hitting Latif in the shoulder. Latif pulled out his own gun.
Nice.
And starts firing back at Uday, forcing him to hide behind cover. And while he's hiding, the elevator doors finally close. He goes down to the first floor. Latif runs out of the nightclub, jumps into his car, and drives away while the bodyguards are chasing him and shooting at him. Latif drives towards the border, where the only thing to get between like him and freedom is a military checkpoint. The problem was that Latif had no ID, and he's bleeding through his shoulder from a gunshot wound.
Right.
So he thought there's no way he's going to get through. He's going to get caught. He's going to get arrested and sent back to the torture rooms and eventually killed. Then he realized that Uday had actually given him the perfect way out. So he lights a cigar, drives up to the military checkpoint and says, "Hello, gentlemen. Uday Hussein here.
Yeah.
Let me through."
Well, you know who I am, fuckface.
The guards hit him with a salute and let him pass through without question.
This is odd. They must have made this into a movie.
It had to have been. I mean, it's just too good.
This is a movie. I'm almost skeptical of the reality of it. It's so much of a movie. I'm not going to lie, but I have no grounds to be skeptical.
I mean,
the fact that like elevator doors closing at the Devil's Double. There you go.
There you go.
It's also about their Eiffel Tower.
So
running a two-man.
From there, he sneaks into Turkey and then eventually gets to freedom. Uday then went to Latif's family and demanded that Latif be returned to Iraq, but Latif's family says no. Because they refuse, Uday murders Latif's father.
Jesus Christ.
He paid a heavy price, but again, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, the father is solid as fuck, being like, "Yo, you can torture my son, but you're gonna have to kill me to get him back."
That's badass. That's dad of the year.
Yeah.
Baghdad.
There's actually video of like Latif like getting interviewed talking about like this escape and like them basically like taking out his father.
Let's see the man. Whew. Even his dad has a Saddam-y vibe.
Yeah.
Oh, we murked Uday.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
So
Fuck that guy.
Right, dude?
Yeah.
I mean,
mean guy.
Also, shout out to Latif's daddy.
Shout out to Latif's dad.
I mean, that guy's just an
He could have been one of the Saddams. I'm not gonna lie. I could have seen him on the boat. Don't know if he would have liked it, dude. But they really were, and I don't know if they are anymore. But they were a staunch mustache culture during that time.
Well, this happens a lot in dictatorial regimes where people just emulate the leader.
You might as well.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
so 90s. Like Saddam has like the face of the 90s. To me.
Yeah.
It's like him and Tom Selleck
and Bam Margera, like just that whole era.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know the boys.
Yeah, dude, Y2K vibes.
Selleck, Margera, Qusay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's psycho. And I mean, I think this goes all the way back to like Julius Caesar. Like, like he would get a haircut, and then the rest of Rome would
just
like,
walk around with bowl cuts.
Yeah. Yo, give me the Caesar, bro.
Yeah, give me the Caesar. Hey.
But yeah, fortunately,
Could you imagine if in America everyone was doing Trump's hair right now? Like if you just went out to a bar and it was just a bunch of, and maybe there are parts of the country, but you walk out to a bar and there's just a bunch of hair helmets just mopping around.
That's why I preferred Obama's presidency, because I was wavy as fuck, dude.
You were waved up, yeah, just wavy. See the problem? Gotta comb it.
People are like, "You are a cultural appropriation." Like, nah, dude, I'm just respecting the leader.
Yeah, I'm just respecting the leader, dude.
This is what God wanted.
Just wavy like a little white fuck boy. Yeah. What's up? Barack in a building.
Yeah, come on now.
Come on.
Fuck with me. Fortunately, the rest of his family is not harmed, and Latif now works as like a correspondent and speaks about geopolitical topics happening in the Middle East.
Nice.
And I think it's important to include his story, because not only is he extremely brave and heroic in many different facets, but it also shows how crazy and evil Uday was from a direct firsthand account. And obviously his story gets turned into a film. And but that is only just kind of the surface of how sort of demonic
Uday was.
Yeah.
But it tells like a great story, because you have good guy, bad guy, but they're both the same guy.
Spy versus spy.
Perfect. It's the perfect film.
We should watch that.
Yeah. Uday film?
Let's roll it from the top.
Yeah, let's watch the entire film and do a watch along.
7-hour pod.
Yeah, well, gotta get the money up.
Right. Another man who managed to get away from the government was Abbas al-Janabi. He was one of Uday Hussein's closest friends and his personal press secretary. He escapes and got to safety, and he told people about all the terrible things that Uday had done, especially all the sexual assaults on many women, some as young as even 12 years old.
Oh, that's not good.
As if
not gonna joke
if you were on the fence about Uday now, I mean...
And now I'm out.
Yeah.
And now I'm out. That, everything else I liked, the stealing and objectifying and fucking and killing and violence, that was fine.
Yes.
But now I'm done with him.
So al-Janabi also said that during the first Gulf War, Uday Hussein personally took part in torturing American POWs. But all of these stories barely...
See, now I'm really out, motherfucker, because...
Yeah, you fuck with the boys?
This is the first time I've cared.
Nah, dude, if you're trying to touch our boys over there...
You trying to touch our boys?
You can't touch our boys.
We touch our boys. Okay,
those are our boys.
It's not good either.
The stories, again, they show how evil and twisted he is. And he did many, many more terrible things. And it's difficult to really know how many of these events actually happened. The legitimacy of all of them, again, as with many sort of terrible dictators, specifically in ancient history, it's like, the stories get sort of changed and shifted, and different people use them for different political messages.
You get a little TV job out of it.
So, yeah, right? So here are a couple of them in no specific order. After the first Gulf War, there's an attempt by the people to rebel against Saddam, and Uday was directly involved in dealing with the prisoners. During a visit to a prison that was holding many of the rebels, Uday decided to order half of them to be killed.
It's a lot.
Thanos snap.
Which half?
I guess.
How did he figure it out?
Well, Uday then takes one of the prisoners from the group that was still alive, and right in front of all the others, basically, this is graphic. I don't even know how much of this I can necessarily share. Takes an electric drill and murders him. And then he orders all of the dead bodies to be left in prison cells while the living prisoners still look at them. Just, again, it's more additional psychological torture.
I can't, I hear these story. I like can't like actually like grasp that. Like, you know what I mean? Like thinking about what it would take to do that.
Yeah, it's
or
truly.
watch that or see it. Like it's not a.
I think it's a
part of Earth that I like.
No,
that
I think it's a
even interacts
pathology.
with
I think
me.
it's truly a pathology. I
Yeah.
think it's like you just get to a level of like narcissism and psychopathy.
Or he'd been watching a lot of Home Improvement. And Tim the Tool Man Taylor, he starts drilling the guy and out. It was a sitcom for all our younger listeners, a sitcom called Home Improvement.
That's the one with the
Tim
neighbor.
Allen.
The neighbor looking over the fence.
Wilson, yeah, and you can only see the bottom part of his face.
Yeah, and you see his dumb forehead. You're like, I wish I
Yeah,
could take a
it's a
drill.
metaphor for the CIA.
Oh,
in
that's
this.
Big Brother.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
I don't know.
What's interesting is that Uday actually loved his mom.
That doesn't surprise me at all. There's something about like rich mama's boys that are freaks. There's some Freudian issue that I'm sure one of your listeners is an expert in, but like they're like, no, mom, the real one. And it's like, well, stop fucking and killing brides.
Yeah,
because they were gonna become mom.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think it's like, and also I think boy moms just boy
Can be a little nuts.
Yeah, boy moms kind of
Yeah.
I don't want to say they cause psychopathic serial killers, but they're not stopping it.
Yeah, the whole Gabby Petito thing, the guy who killed her, his mom was like half of the demon. She was a freak. She was like, if you go to jail, I'll put a file in the cake. I'm like, no, you need to say, hey, don't kill your girlfriend.
Yeah.
What? That would be good parenting, is a little bit of pushback.
Yeah, but boy moms, dude, they're
like, my boy's perfect.
Yeah, nothing can ever happen.
My
dude.
boy's fucking perfect.
I saw a very funny TikTok. It was a girl being like, I completely understand the Virgin Mary. Because if someone told me like, yo, your son is literally the savior of the universe, your son is God, I'd be like, I completely get it.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, like obviously my son is God. My boy is a fucking hero.
I was literally just thinking that.
I remember I went out drinking with a friend of mine when we were in high school, not supposed to drink at that age, and we got caught, and the mom like drove me home the next day, and she basically was like, here's the problem. You can do whatever you want because you're a loser, but my boy is going places, and you need to stay away from him because he's more special than you. And I was like, lady, your son's a fucking idiot. You have no idea how dumb this boy is, and he hasn't gone on to do shit. How about that? You fucking delusional twat.
That's the thing. I never had that energy. My mom had 7 kids. By the time she got to me, she was like,
oh, yeah. My mom didn't. Yeah, she was not like a hover mom like that. No, it was the other ones. Yeah.
My mom was the opposite.
Yeah.
I would do good in school. She'd be like, you could have done better.
Yeah, we could tweak that.
Didn't apply.
My mom was literally just like, do the dishes. It was a very chore based.
It's very socialist. You had like a gulag.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. There's work to be done.
Yeah,
and it will set you free.
Yes.
So he loves his mama, and he is extremely loyal to her, and he respects her greatly. So when Saddam marries a second wife, Uday sees this as disrespect.
He's like, what the fuck, Dad? You gonna leave mom like that? She's a fucking saint, dude. Mom's the best woman I ever met. Bring me that woman. I'm gonna fuck her, dude. You gotta respect women, Dad.
Dead ass, bro.
What the fuck, dude?
Just
No
valid.
Yeah, dude. On God, Sadam. Don't do mom like that.
You can't. It's one thing to do that to your wife. Another thing to do that to your cousin, Dad.
Yeah,
Come on, you cannot.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude? Thanksgiving's gonna be weird.
Yeah, dude.
How are we supposed to celebrate with our cousins if you're not fucking one of them?
Blood in, blood out, Dad.
Yeah.
So Uday personally blames a man named Kamel Geggio.
Oh, I thought Nanjiani.
Different one.
Superhero.
He was Saddam Hussein's personal food taster and servant. Uday blames Kamel because he's the person who introduced Saddam to his second wife. So at a party in 88, but 88, that's a good time. They're probably listening to Thriller.
Yeah, sure.
Like they're bumping like legit bangers.
Or just like, I was going to do an impression, but I actually don't know what they listen to in Iraq. I was just going to do Indian music.
I imagine it sounds like
something like that.
Maybe
they're
like
going to be
Indian.
rattling.
Maybe they
some
like
sort
Indian
of...
music as well. I mean, who are we to assume
yeah,
they
can we
like
get some
American culture?
Iraqi music? I would say royalty free, but I'm betting it all is.
Well, now it is.
Well, I wish.
Ever since we deposed Saddam.
Yeah, a lot of percussion. Almost a Mexican flavor. Ooh. And then you do get that kind of desert.
Yeah, just wandering.
It does make you want to not stereotyping, makes you want to ride a camel a little bit. Clip clop, clip clop.
This is about to make my snake pop
You
up,
know
dude.
what I mean? Yeah. Well, allow me to charm your snake.
So, at a party in 88, the boys are bumping that track.
Absolutely.
And they're possibly following orders from the mother. Uday violently kills Kamel in front of all the party guests using a carving knife as punishment. Electric, like Thanksgiving. Because of the murder, Saddam actually...
Mid-party is so it's insane anyway, but like mid-party. And then I would bet that everyone was expected to continue partying.
Oh, I'm sure they served it.
Like, don't go home early.
Yeah, dude, we just cut the ham.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It's Christmas. So, what do you do if you're Saddam in this case? Right?
It's a good question.
This is your food taster.
Yeah.
He introduced you to your newest, hottest wife.
That's right. You need to discipline your boy, but he also is probably like low-key proud of him because he's like, you can't let the ops get you like that. So you'd like take away one of his 12 cars.
Basically,
Yeah.
what he does is he puts him in prison and sentences him to death.
Oh, okay. and honestly, why live without my Benz?
Exactly, dude. If you don't have your fucking G series,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Is that a series of Mercedes? I don't know. I'm not in that tactical.
You got to kill your kid at that point. I think. If he's killing if he's killing your boy,
dude,
if your kid's killing your friend.
But also if he's making the ratio better.
That's also true, though. Yeah, that is true. So, he's helping you smash.
Yeah, there's, two sides to every story. So because of the murder, he gets put and sentenced to death, but Saddam lets him out after only 3 months and sends him to Switzerland, hoping that he would stay out of trouble in Switzerland.
There's no way he stays out of trouble in Switzerland.
And why do you say that? You think people are just irredeemable? You think everyone's just fraught with problems? They can never recover and be better people?
I think he didn't realize he had an addiction to snow bunnies, but he about to find out.
Well, you're completely right. So he goes to Switzerland and immediately starts getting into fights and gets arrested by Swiss police multiple times. And they basically get so tired of dealing with him, they throw him out of Switzerland. And where does he go back to?
Iraq.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep them in prison in Switzerland because there's holes in all the bars.
I like that.
You like that one?
I like that. But the problem is now he's back in Iraq, and Saddam now has to deal with his psycho son that he realizes, like, yo, I really turned my man into a monster.
Yeah.
So what does he do?
I created a monster. So that sort of thing.
You're going to love this.
Okay.
He takes away all of Uday's expensive luxury cars and orders them to be destroyed with bombs.
Nice. Oh, the P. Diddy. That's what he did to Kid Cudi.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah.
It's like a YouTube video.
Yeah.
It's like we take 10
It's a Mr.
Lamborghinis.
Beast video?
10 Lambos.
We're going to blow up 15 Lambos and try and change the world's worst dictator's son.
It actually would be a great video.
Would be a great video.
Uday is later given the job, just a regular job of just getting him out of all the nonsense. Okay, let's just give him something to keep him busy.
Yeah.
Let's put him in charge of the Iraqi Olympic Committee. This is a pretty innocuous little job, no real power. And this gives him control of all of Iraq's sports teams, especially the Iraqi soccer team. And he treats the players terribly.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
As you can imagine. This is like Ted Lasso, but the worst version.
The opposite of Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, you just got to believe when your back's against the wall that I've got a chainsaw poking through that wall and you're going to die.
Yeah. He would beat them, embarrass them, and even send them to be tortured when they lost games.
It makes the game so not fun.
So there is a gentleman named Sharar Mohammed al-Bayadi who played on the Iraqi soccer team, and after they lost a game against Jordan, Uday had him thrown in jail. He says, they took me straight away to prison, and every single day I was beaten on my feet 20 a day, and I'm not allowed to eat or drink, just a glass of water and one piece of bread.
I don't really, obviously it's morally wrong, but even from a strategic standpoint, and I've done enough sports gambling to know what you want to do to athletes who fail you, but strategically, it doesn't make your team play better if they're tight. Right?
This is what you don't understand about dictatorial regimes.
Right. It's maybe they're not about human motivation.
We need to see the stat line after that guy's taken away.
That is true.
Because what's going to motivate you to play a little better?
The boys are definitely not leaving practice early.
No.
You know?
And I mean, I would have absolutely, I would have floundered in this environment. I get the yips a little bit in high pressure moments of a big game. If I'm not performing, I got to step away and be like, all right, let me catch my breath.
I was watching a film the other day, D2. the Mighty Ducks of the Mighty Ducks franchise. And there's a moment there where Gordon Bombay becomes pretty big time. He's got his hair slicked back. He's being really mean to the guys, and he's making them work. And they're skating liners, and hockey's not fun anymore. But then they get back to playing roller hockey, and then eventually he brings out a beach ball, and they play a lot better, and they beat Iceland. And I think if Uday had paid a little bit more attention to that film, he might have known that there's another way.
We could see an Iraqi champion to this day.
It's possible.
So he just basically beats the guys like crazy, and that's his whole deal. Another story comes from an Iraqi weightlifter who he sent to be tortured because the athletes didn't win a gold medal. He says they use special sticks, electric sticks, pipes filled with stones. You have no idea how brutal these guys are.
Oh, God.
So he uses all sorts of punishment on these athletes. One time he made the soccer team kick a ball made of solid concrete because they didn't make it into the 1994 World Cup. He also said...
That was just kind of comical.
I guess it depends how hard you got to kick it, but if you're just kind of like juggling with it,
I would imagine, yeah.
But I feel like I could fake that out. I could like pretend to kick it hard, be like,
just, ow, fug.
It's also claimed that Uday had some athletes pulled across gravel and then thrown into sewage water so that they would get infections.
Nice guy.
One day, the ways of torturing people became more violent and disgusting. Like he would remove people's ears and buy them coffins and even use torches on people. And the reason that his torture methods were getting more violent and disgusting is because Uday had started using the World Wide Web. This
It radicalizes all of us.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
It's really unfortunate. He fell down a right-wing rabbit hole.
The torture pipeline.
It starts with Ben Shapiro.
Yeah. And you're like, where's my blowtorch?
Dude, that's crazy. So he started going online and he was like, show me the bad videos.
Literally, dude. He was just on Faces of Death.
He was like, bring me 2 girls and 1 cup.
He's just on Omegle.
Yeah.
And he would spend time looking up different ways to torture people and so that he could carry it out within his little sphere of influence.
It's crazy that for him, that's like, at like the end of the night, when you're like, I got so much more work to do. That's like what he's grinding on.
Up to my
That's
neck.
what he's grinding on.
It's
all the old torture. Babe, give me a second.
I know.
gotta look up new ways to torture people.
You're blowing me up and you have no idea the pressure I'm under.
I'm under a lot of stress.
I tortured these guys with the chainsaw last time. They're going to expect it.
I haven't come in minutes.
It's actually quoted from the workers and staff that worked with Uday that the day he got the internet was a dark day for Iraq.
Yeah. Fuck.
Another incident, again, in no particular order, happens when a group of Russian ballet dancers come to Iraq to perform. He invited one of the dancers and her teacher to come to his room for what he said was a party. Obviously, there's no party, and his bodyguards forced the dancer and the teacher to fornicate while pointing guns at them as Uday recorded everything. And then,
he was just trying to watch.
I guess. Like, I don't know if it's like...
This is a man who's gotten into the internet.
That's what I'm saying.
We must film it.
Dude, yeah, I know. So Latif Yahia, our hero from before, confirmed that his violent and horrible behavior goes even beyond assault because he would try to elevate these acts to where they were beyond even like fornication, if you can imagine.
I don't want to.
He says, that he can't sleep with a woman if he didn't hit her. He can't sleep with her unless there was some type of violence involved in the act.
It's not very nice.
He did all sorts of crazy things. One of the most horrible things was the wedding raids. And this made people hate him all around Iraq to a degree that, like, everyone was like, fuck this guy forever.
It's tough PR. I don't know what they are, but I have a feeling based on the tale we were told earlier.
You know exactly what it is. He would find weddings actively happening.
He was going bride smashing?
He was legit finding weddings actively happening and then try to find brides. And
he did horrendous.
He did this regularly throughout Iraq.
And also the craziest sequel to Wedding Crashers I've ever considered.
Yeah, they didn't make a film about that.
It's like an A24 Wedding Crashers. It's more of a...
I don't even know how much I can play with this premise legally.
It's horrible. It's literally, we're doing levity here, but in terms of thinking about, it's like somehow it is one of the worst things that I can imagine.
I don't know
because it's just
it's borderline worse than death. I don't know why in my brain. Like
it's because it's like it's beyond cruel.
Yeah.
And it's psychological warfare.
And it's his own people, too. It's not like that he's like some foreign invader. You know what I mean?
Right.
Say what you will about the Vikings.
Right.
They did.
They were,
They did to some other people.
They didn't see them as people.
These are like his own countrymen that he's doing this to. And
Tough PR.
Yeah, and they hate him.
Yeah.
The whole country hates him. They hate him more than Saddam. Like he now becomes like the main target for people trying to kill him by like the mid-90s. So by 96, attackers almost...
I don't necessarily want to pause on this, but he would gather up like vans and they would just be like, there's a wedding, and he would just pull up to him and just bride steal and do whatever he wanted, basically.
Literally.
Okay, horrible. Keep going.
So by 96, attackers almost kill him while he's riding in his group of cars. Uday and his bodyguards are attacked by a rebel group called Al-Nahda, which I don't know much about their politics. Yeah. I'm siding with them.
Well, this is a very American thing to do. I think what we would do is we hear this story, we probably side with them, we probably buy a bunch of weapons for them. Yes. Then at some point, they are like, well, we don't really like you. And we're like, what the f did you say, dude?
What the
hell?
And then
we fight them like with our own weaponry. And I could be wrong about that. That's just how I understand foreign policy to work.
I mean, they have a whole website.
They look great. They have a corporate office in Oman.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Look at this. They got cranes. We're building.
Yeah.
We're building.
Okay, this might just be a construction company.
That might just be a construction company. Shout out to the Al-Nahda group for all your corporate office needs in Muscat, Oman.
This episode is brought to you by Al-Nahda.
Yeah. You looking for a building for all the whatever work you guys do? Call Al-Nahda group.
Yes.
And we will also protect your wedding.
Yes. So... they were going to kill Uday. They shot at the cars with AK-47s, threw grenades, the whole shebang, yada, yada, yada.
Full support, by the way.
And many of the bodyguards are killed, and Uday himself is shot 8 times. One of the bullets gets stuck in his spine, and because of where it was, doctors couldn't remove it through surgery, which meant that Uday had a permanent limp for the rest of his life. I mean, this guy just won't die.
Yeah.
So... what sets him apart
He's like
from...
beyond the villain in any superhero movie.
You couldn't put it in a movie.
Yeah.
You'd be like, this movie is...
I can't watch this
It's a
anymore.
snuff film.
Yeah, this is horrible.
And so what sets him apart is from all the terrible things is that most evil people do awful things because they want to accomplish something that they think achieves some type of good. You know what I mean? Like every type of evil dictator is like, if we can get rid of these people, then our country will succeed.
Right.
If we can stop this coup, then my government can flourish, da-da-da-da. They have a warped sense of justifying their actions.
Yeah.
Whereas Uday just seemed like he was being cruel for
He's trying to be a bad guy.
Literally, dude. He just would go around and try to exercise his brutality as much as possible and had no goal that he was working towards. So Uday kind of worked backwards from this idea.
Rich kids, they just never have a goal.
You know?
That's the problem.
You need a little purpose.
Yeah.
Which, shout out to fucking the Buddha.
The Buddha.
You know his story.
That's right. He was also a prince, but he went the other way.
The ultimate rich kid that was like, let me do a little sabbatical. Let me leave the kingdom. Let me see how the other
detox.
The other 90% live.
Detox. He hit an ice bath.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And just kind of chilled out, lived with the people, and was like, you know what? I'm going to live an ascetic lifestyle where I teach people the way of enlightenment.
Yeah.
And
Uday did the other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to like kind of work backwards and justify what he's doing, and he's trying to find like an angle. Okay.
I'm familiar.
So if he wanted to sleep with women, he could have gone to any nightclub, and plenty of women would be happy to be like the dictator's,
It's too easy. He likes a challenge.
Right. And many women probably would have been down, but he says, no. Women want power, so he chooses to drive around looking for the weddings and try to exercise his power that way. And I don't think he even cared about what he wanted. He just wanted to be evil.
He just wanted. Like, it's basically that sentence. It's like he wants everything to belong to him.
Yes. And what's fascinating is that Saddam is aware of all this.
Yeah.
He knows what's going on. He knew about what his son had been doing and just kind of let it keep happening and kind of enabled him.
Yeah.
So Saddam announced that...
Sounds like he wasn't a very involved father.
No, I think he was a little busy.
Yeah.
But he does announce that Uday would not take over as dictator when he dies.
Wow.
Saddam said that his second son, Qusay, would take over.
Let me get up in that Qusay.
Qusay is just Latif.
Make that Qusay slap.
Latif just takes over.
Yeah, give it to your third son, dude.
Right?
He's a vibe.
That guy was sick as hell.
Qusay, I would imagine we're going to find out he's not great either, but he doesn't seem as bad.
You're hoping he just, gets far from the tree.
Yeah.
But we will discover. Saddam basically makes this decision because he believes that Uday is too cruel for that much power and didn't want him to take over the country. So just think about that, right? Like Saddam, like one of the most evil dictators by some measures, depending who you ask, believes that his own son is too evil to be the next dictator.
Yeah.
So when Saddam is like, yo, you went too far,
you've overachieved. But it is a goat giving his respect. You know what I mean?
In his own way.
Yeah, in his own way.
You become too powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
And there were other reasons why Uday didn't get to become the new dictator. For instance, that he had a permanent limp made him seem weak.
And I kind of like it.
Yeah,
kind of swagged out. Get him a cane,
right? Saddam didn't like the over the top behavior.
Yeah,
like he was too ostentatious.
It's hard to keep a lid on your society when you're going around to weddings doing what he was doing.
How do you think Uday feels?
I would imagine he took the news gracefully and completely understood where everyone was coming from.
Unfortunately, you're wrong. He's pissed off, and he's angry that he's not going to inherit the power. And over time, he finds himself being left out from more and more government business and decisions. And people who used to surround Uday had now kind of abandoned him and were sort of working with Qusay instead because he's going to become the next leader.
Yeah.
Uday understood that even though he could do basically anything he wanted, he knew that there would now be serious consequences if he tries to murder Qusay.
Right.
Killing Qusay was one of the few things that he wouldn't be able to get away with.
Killing that Qusay.
Yeah. And if he tried to take out the brother, he would also be sentenced to death. So he basically had no choice. He kind of just accepted that, Qusay would become the next dictator. So the government continued working normally, but with everyone paying attention to Qusay now. Meanwhile, Uday kept doing kind of what he'd always been doing, drinking, partying, killing, assaults, and all sorts of terrible things.
Yeah, I don't really love this guy with more time on his hands.
Yeah.
We should have given him enough work.
And this went on for years.
Yeah.
Until the boys.
The boys. See, there were good things about the invasion. It didn't, I don't think it went well in the long run.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if they just let off with these stories, they're like, do they have weapons of mass destruction?
It's like, no, but they've got this weapon of ass destruction that he's been wreaking havoc on society.
We got to get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
I think America would be like, all right.
Yeah.
Let it rip.
Yeah, tell us the truth. Is the thing with, CIA keeps fibbing.
So all that to say, I mean, I'm not going to get too much into the Iraq war, but many of the important Iraqi leaders kind of went into hiding because they knew America was looking for them.
Yeah.
And American soldiers had been given these playing cards called the Iraq's Most Wanted because they wanted them to be familiar with the faces and names of everyone in Iraq that they were trying to find.
Yeah.
So even though they weren't necessarily boys, Uday and Qusay actually hid together in a house that they took over from the owner in the city of Mosul. And they were using fake names like Nawaf and were trying to find a way to escape from Iraq. And they understood that the American soldiers were gaining in on them. American forces found out that Uday and Qusay were hiding, and many people believe that the house owner told the Americans where to find them because they fucking hated Uday that much. People think this because the house owner and his family left Iraq and then suddenly showed up in America with $30 million.
Well, that's a fair trail right there. I think that does make sense. 30 mil for a little snitch. I guess that was the wanted on him.
Maybe they're doing sports betting. Who knows? Maybe they're like, hey,
I don't know if FanDuel. I haven't checked if FanDuel has that region.
Let's check the money line on the Iraqi soccer team. Yeah, like, I think they're gonna lose. Their best player's got a fucking leg missing.
Yeah,
I have a feeling they're not doing too hot.
Yeah, that ball's not made out of concrete, so they have a distinct disadvantage.
Yeah. They've been training with the wrong ball. Yeah, dude. So by July 22nd, 2003. Special American military unit called the JSOC Task Force 20, working with the 101st Airborne Division, started a mission to attack the house. Which, let me just say, I watched the Osama Netflix doc.
I did too.
That shit got me fired up, dude. I know it's propaganda. I understand this
100%.
is likely being fed to the American
when
public.
you go, oh, every guest is from the CIA, I wonder who controlled the narrative here. That being said, was it all lies, or were they just telling their side of the story, and is it not an interesting side of the story?
We want war. But if you have war with the United States,
it's not going to go well.
Someone else will raise your children.
Yeah.
Have you heard that speech?
No.
Dude, can we pull that up, Gabe?
No, but
this will get you fired up for this segment.
I think it's important to say.
Oh, dude, we don't want war speech.
I think it's important to note, because I often find myself being critical of the American war machine. I think that's appropriate. We are good at destroying things.
Yeah.
The real question is what happens after.
Don't
we've
look into the
destroyed
after.
things.
Don't look into the after.
Okay.
You just need to listen to this and go, you know what? Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about it. Nope.
Well,
a little.
Talk to him. Jesus Christ.
It ain't me.
Oh my God.
It ain't me.
I ain't no fucking. The fucking helicopters. It is an anti-war song, which is funny, but helicopters, fucking nom.
Dude, it just gets you fired up. Look, I understand.
I love a good locker room speech.
I'm not a pro-war guy, okay? No. Look, we want peace all over the world. With that said, if you want war with the United States, so help me God.
Yeah, don't. If you poke the bear.
Oh, so they're basically watching the house. The boys are gaining in on them.
Yeah.
And American soldiers find out there are 4 people inside. You have Uday, Qusay, a bodyguard, and Qusay's son. The plan is to capture all of them alive.
Bet they wish they had their body doubles.
Right?
Yeah.
Uday and Qusay were Saddam's only 2 sons, if you don't count the third, which made them extremely important targets. So the American forces used everything they had to make sure that the mission wouldn't fail. They brought over 200 soldiers, Kiowa helicopters, an A-10 Warthog fighter jet. They were making absolutely sure these motherfuckers couldn't get away.
Mm-hmm.
American soldiers surround the house and tell the people inside to come out with their hands up. But instead of surrendering, the people in the house start shooting back at the American soldiers, and the Americans start firing with them. This started a gunfight that lasted for 4 hours. Uday and Qusay used heavy machine guns and AK-47 rifles to fight the American soldiers. 4 American soldiers tried to sneak into the area and get to a back entrance of the house. Unfortunately, someone inside, we still don't know who, threw a grenade out the window, and the soldiers were badly wounded. Finally, the American forces started hitting the house with missiles and shooting at it with helicopters. After 10 direct hits with the missiles and after half the house had basically fallen down and destroyed, the shooting from inside stopped. The American soldiers go in and they find the dead bodies of Qusay and Uday in the wreckage. 4 people were killed in that operation.
Jesus. And there they are. Dead as fuck.
Yeah, dude. Good news travels fast sometimes.
Daff.
Actually, let me see.
I'll give them what they did to people. Whoa, Jesus.
Qusay, I can't.
Are those cakes?
That I think is Freddie Mercury. I don't know exactly.
Is that post autopsy or goddamn? Well, I've had enough of that for today.
So I don't know. I don't
like cakes in that one, dude.
Dude, that would be a sick reel, dude. Just fucking.
Is it cake?
I guess
Saddam's son.
Yeah, to Uday it might have been cake. Who knows?
Yeah.
When he is confirmed to have been killed. His death is announced to the public in the same night, and for many nights afterwards, you would hear celebratory gunshots fired all across Baghdad.
In his honor, dude. It is what he would have wanted.
I don't know how you know that they're celebratory.
Yeah.
Like, I just wonder.
Could have just been gunshots.
Yeah.
That's the U.S. is like, dude, people are stoked. It's like you're driving a tank through a village.
That's what I say. Anytime I'm in a bad neighborhood, I'm like, dude, you hear those people? Celebrating.
They probably were pumped, though.
Oh.
I mean, that's like... You know, again, short-sighted, but initially the thing was like, hey, we got to get rid of these people. The people don't like them. Now that's true.
Yes.
what comes next.
You're always looking at
The
what
whole
comes
thing-
next.
yes,
You're
that's
always looking at the what happens.
Right.
You got to just relish in the moment. You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
And just enjoy the fact that Uday is gone.
Yeah, that is nice.
I mean,
Nice to think about.
20 years. I mean, I didn't know this when I was, 7.
Right, but we went through the story today, and we've reached a happy point in the story
So far.
where, he comes back.
I'm not cake, motherfuckers. But the people of Iraq are very happy, and that that Uday is gone, and he's buried in a grave near the town of Tikrit. Soon after, American soldiers search Uday's house, and they find all the typical things you would find in a dictator's son's home. They find
Double-sided dildos, bunch of bottles of baby oil,
some recording equipment. They find pet cheetahs and lions, a bunch of cars. They find guns made out of gold, and they also find $650 million of cash hidden inside the walls of the house. And that is the terrible and twisted tale of Uday Hussein.
Wow. What a piece of shit.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not one, again, I'm generally a pacifist. I think that there's good in all of us, and that through the power of Christ, we can all enter into the kingdom of heaven. With that being said, I mean, this guy's a real motherfucker, and I'm glad he's dead.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. And, it is nice because I focus on the negative aspects of that war, which ended up not being great. But it's nice to say, hey, we killed that guy.
Right.
And that guy needed to get killed.
Was it worth the millions of casualties?
Well, see, that's where, again, let's probably know. But where this story today ends, shout out to us.
Shout out to the boys.
For this moment.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I don't know. You hear about all the terrible things, and you're like, all right. Again, I don't like to celebrate the death of people, right? This is a human life that God put on our planet.
No.
And it was taken.
But he was crashing these weddings.
And this guy sucks.
This guy sucked, dude.
Oh, my God.
Like, beyond the fact that he was committing horrible atrocities to his own people, all that, just vibes-wise, had to have been the worst hang.
Oh, of all time.
Yeah.
And he had every opportunity to just live like a sick-ass life.
That's an absolute, award, the worst hang of all time.
Oh, yeah. The mush.
Uday Hussein.
The mush of all mushes. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine a worse vibe.
Yeah.
Like, hitting up your boy being like, yo, come out. And they're like, is Uday there?
Who's it with?
Yeah.
Uday has bottle service?
And you're like,
I don't want to get hit with a lead pipe full of rocks.
Yeah. By fake Uday. I might not even be the real one.
Might not even be the real one.
I'm getting abused by
the thing that fake Uday left out of his story is, if he's in public as Uday, he needs to be doing Uday shit.
Right?
So he was probably piping a couple people, not non-metaphorically. Literally piping, mother.
Because, if you're an assassin and you got sights on him, and you're like, this Uday is extremely jovial and kind.
Why is this guy asking this woman about her day?
Yeah,
that doesn't seem like him at all.
Atypical of the Uday we all know and hate.
Yeah.
But, as with all things, there's good and bad of every conflict. But I think just today we can say, you know what? There's a little bit of good.
A little bit of good.
Uday is out of there.
Good one in terms of this story.
And I think a forewarning, if there's any, dictators out there, extremely wealthy people.
Watch your kids.
For real, dude.
We gonna fuck them up.
We don't want war.
We don't want war. But fuck your kids.
I mean, for real, though, just make your kids suffer a little. Make them struggle. Make them go through some shit.
It's important.
Saddam just as easily could have been like, hey, Uday, go out there and you got to live in a Bedouin hut for a while.
He could have been the next prophet.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
He could have been a good guy.
Could have been.
And this is the thing. Say what you will about religious dictators. You hope that maybe there's a little bit of religiosity that gets in there to be like, okay, you can't murder. It's a wedding. Allah made this wedding happen.
Yeah, they always kind of find a way to be like, hey, but he told me.
Yeah,
we got to do this one.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Ugh. I don't know. I'm glad he's gone.
So am I.
And I didn't even know he was really here, to be honest. I didn't know a ton about Uday.
I had known, like I said at the beginning, I had heard a little bit. I had heard the Uday and Qusay kind of funny name, kind of a two-man at little Bert and Ernie vibes. I knew they were causing around, wreaking all sorts of havoc. But I suppose it was a little more playful in my mind.
Yeah. No.
That was pretty dark.
That boy did not play.
No.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Butcher of Baghdad. The Ace of Hearts has finally folded. Get it? I don't know if that's really a poker term. I think it works. I don't really play poker that much.
I'll take it.
Okay, what do you think?
The
All right. Come on now. We don't have time to just be fucking just gabbing all the time. All right?
Well, thanks for having me, Mark. This was a lovely time.
Joseph, thank you so much. I appreciate you spending the afternoon to learn about the horrible treachery of Uday.
Of course. And, just one more time for people, if they're ever in New York, show at Mary Lou last Tuesday of every month. It's a great show. Come on, check it out. Check me out. Joey Avery all over the place. Got a special coming out. Joey Show podcast. Invite me to your wedding. I won't do that.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Please drop a comment. I read all of them. Let me know. Did I miss anything in this? Was there anything that was inaccurate? Was there anything that you think that was not included that should have been brought into the story? Please drop a comment. Spotify, YouTube. I will read all of them. As always, I've been Mark Gagnon. You're welcome in my tent anytime, and I will see you in the future. Peace and blessings. So long.